after the point he didn't want to come outside. I didn't understand it because I'm from downtown. You heard? We had our own set of killers.
The Roc-A-Fella podcast.
Dame impact in Harlem was nothing. Not to say it like that. Dame came up under hustlers. That impact was it. He was a little dude when it came to hustling in Harlem. He wasn't not no Rich Porter, none of that type of. He wanted to hustle. He wanted to hustle for Rich Porter and that. Dame from the East Side. When the niggas on the East Side different from the niggas from the West Side. Now for the East Side, Dame was a big deal to us because we were little. When he was coming from the West Side, little car, jewelry, and all that. So when you're young, he's looking like Rich Porter, but in reality, he was like this. Nigga, go to the store, nigga, take a couple grams, get out of here.
The Roc-A podcast.
That Jim Jones did, and he said that you're not a boss, you're a worker. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say about that?
Someone called me about that, and I laughed because it's ridiculous, but I felt like Jim must have been giving me an alley-oop to front on him, so I will.
Okay. So, you're invited. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. When I was 15-year-old, and I would guess their perspective, because he was a young man, I was big time to him. Because I was 15-year-old, and I was doing things that most 15-year-olds weren't doing. And the people that he's rapping about in a lot of his records, like Rich Porter and Lou Sims, these are people I actually used to hustle with. Now, at 15, I'm not going to say I was a legend at hustling. I wasn't. I was 15. But the people that we were looking up to, by the time I got to their age, I had definitely made more money than them, and I was more impactful as it relates to culture because it wasn't being known for selling drugs. I was never known for selling drugs. But what you won't do, you could ask Lou Sims if he ever sent me to the store, or ask anybody that you know that was in that world that ever sent me to the store. See, I never hustled with Jim, and I don't think he ever bought a car till it was with rap money. It was never a street thing. I knew him as Jomo, and it's not a bad thing. It was his name, and he was like an 8-year-old, like a younger kid running around with a clip-on tie, and he lived in 1199 at Dave's house because I guess whatever it was, he lived. So I never really knew him as like growing up. He was always a little kid.
Yeah.
But Cameron brought him around, and I was like, "Why are you with Jomo?" And he was like, well, and he admitted this. Well, he has a crib we go to. We just use it and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, all right, it's Jomo. But he's done what he's had to do. But, he wasn't there to say that. But if he can say that, like Dookie, I used to hustle with Dookie. He was my lieutenant.
Not Dookie. I thought he was calling the man Dookie.
Yeah, you were wrong. Pause. Dookie is Duke the God we call Dookie. Pause. Okay. But Duke the God is with the Dipset. I used to hustle with him.
Okay.
You could ask him if he ever seen someone send me to the store, but I was always known in the position as somewhat of a boss. And all I did was pass the plug to them. They were like, they always looked up to me at that time, but I was never big time as a drug dealer, but I did have a crew called The Best Out, and we were the youngest crew, and we were legendary. We was all getting money, but again, I'm pretty impressed with who I am and who I was and the things I did. And the fact that the people rap about are the people that I actually hustle with and actually was able to go another direction. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for him, he knows the algorithm.
Yeah.
And, when you say Dame Dash, you go viral. And
I was going to ask you if do you think that was a reason for
so
it?
So that I could actually have a reason to talk about who I was and tell people to look under the hood. But if you know a 15, 16-year-old, and another thing is because I used to hang out uptown. So people from downtown, I'm from 1199, they weren't usually allowed to go uptown and hustle. And I was on one of the wildest blocks at the time in Harlem. So I got to make it out of a real circumstance. I didn't wait to get the rap to start to get money. I didn't wait to get the rap to start being tough. None of those things. And, you can look under the hood. So I appreciate him bringing it up.
So
and
was
to the extent that I've made my paid in full OG stories, it's about my friends. The people, like, again, y'all making records about Rich, but he really did hit us with one. I was there. If you wasn't there, it's hard to talk about it. To be obsessed and infatuated in such a way that you think to be a person is to go to jail, get killed, and be famous for a very short run, that's not what I wanted to be known for. But you can find somebody that sent me to the
Yo, it's Big Ant, the spokesman, back again with another edition. Make sure you stay locked in and sharp at all times. Had to slide through and tap in because just like I expected, Dame Dash finally responded to what Jim Jones said the other day on the No Rap Cap podcast. I dropped the link in the description so y'all can watch both clips start to finish, straight out of New Orleans. That podcast, that's where everything ignited. And today, it's getting even hotter because of what Cam said, which turned into a full-on back and forth. And of course, 50 Cent jumped in, always hunting those big capital C moments. But Dame Dash, bro, came different than I thought. Real talk, mad respect for that energy. His response on the POV show over on American New Network, Dame's YouTube, was sharp, entertaining, and dead on. And for anyone who knows that era, hearing him drop those stories hits different. It's raw. Dame told it all with zero filter. And yeah, he even popped a clip on top, which I hadn't done before. Had to keep it 100 for the fans. What hit me the hardest was hearing him break down how the streets really work. People go through phases. Hustling ain't always illegal, but you got your young homies running errands, holding it down, handling the small stuff. Sometimes older heads guide younger kids, 17, 12-year-old cousins or nephews, telling them go handle this, go grab that. That's normal. But when Jim Jones came at Dame, bro was talking down, energy not street tested, straight up disrespect. Hearing Dame's perspective flipped the whole thing from me. Mad respect. And shout out to Duke the God getting mentioned in all this. Man, I used to ride around bumping that music. Cam, Duke, Dipset, it was real. That sound, that energy, those moments. It wasn't just music, it was culture. And watching Dame break it all down, showing how they ran things back then, legendary. The main takeaway, you can't downplay what Dame brought to the game. From Roc-A-Fella to State Property to Kanye to all the chains and clothing lines, his fingerprints are everywhere. Even the small details, the culture, the mindset, they all trace back to him. Hearing him tell it, you can immediately see why respect is owed. Might throw shots, but Dame's legacy, untouchable. So just hearing all of this, then watching the DVDs and movies, seeing the full storyline, it's clear how Dame was connected, and that was 100% real. And let me say this for Dame, bro. You cannot downplay what he brought to hip-hop. Straight up. From the Charlemagne interviews to every story he drops, Dame's always solid, always on point, always keeping it 1,000. I got another video coming where he breaks all of that down, too, talking about how everyone's against him. And trust me, that one's gonna be wild. But just seeing what Dame contributed over the years, respect has to be given. Dog, back in the day, watching those backstage DVDs as a kid, Dipset at Roc-A-Fella, State Property, Kanye's early grind, the whole chain of events, everything Roc-A-Fella put out had Dame's touch on it. Whether it was creativity, strategy, mindset, or even the clothing lines, Dame was hands-on, shaping the culture. You can't deny that. That's why I respect everything he did. And his line about nobody sending him to the store, bro, that hit different. That energy is real. He said, Jim, you threw me an alley, basically gave me a chance to stun on you, and I popped it. Thank you. You want to go viral? Say my name. That's a vibe. And I ain't gonna lie, seeing them all together back then, dope. I've always been a fan of that era. I remember buying every Roc-A-Fella CD, every Dipset tape, every magazine, finding ways to stay connected to that culture. That's how I grew up, man. So anytime these conversations come up, I gotta speak on it. Jim Jones is still out here doing his thing, calling himself the algorithm bender. Wild energy, but it's entertaining. You can't deny the madness, the hustle, the stories. And that's why this era hits so hard. It's history, it's culture, it's real hip-hop storytelling.